Welcome to LCE History. Today's topic, Dorothea Dix. On April 4th, in 1802, in Hampton, Maine, Dorothea Dix was the firstborn child to Joseph Dix and Mary Bigelow. As she grew older, she began to pursue her education as it was something her family could afford for her since she was the firstborn and would only have two younger brothers later in life. At age 12, she left home with her grandmother to go to Massachusetts, where she buried herself in her studies. At age 14, she began to teach her fellow young girls as a schoolmiss, where she later in life even opened her own school for girls that was free to attend for those who could not afford or had their education afforded to their older brothers or brothers in general if they could afford an education at all. Although during this time in her life, Dorothea was prone to fits of sickness, which also led to bouts of depression within her life, which can notably contribute to her fire to fight for the rights of the mentally ill. Some history to the treatment of the mentally ill within the 1800s should be known that many people begged for help with their family members. Many of these people at the time were deemed to be nincompoops, but the government would give nothing but a few pounds for relief and shoo them away to take care of their families. Many of these families would even have people that were deemed too dangerous for society and would have to keep them contained in their homes where they would be judged by society and had nowhere else they could send them, as the government felt that there was no need for facilities, as there couldn't possibly be that many people affected by this madness. Most of these people being official heads of government at the time. This led to many people to be outcasted from society, as they would have to walk from town to town, as no one would help them if their families couldn't care for them, so they were left to wander, as some people even believed their madness to be a sign of the devil. Then one day, when going to teach Sunday school to women within the jails and the poor and destitute, Dorothea discovered the true conditions of these facilities, where they would keep those deemed with madness and how they would treat them when society wouldn't. The whole situation gave her such a shock that it stirred a fire in her, and she began to gather research to make a case defending the mentally ill. She then approached the Massachusetts legislature to speak against these crimes to humanity and even presented a document to increase the budget for facilities and expand hospitals, which she then had them agree to her ideas and convince them using her stature as a woman in society with what little power she had. She even toured the country and got 14 states to make reforms, but was later turned down when trying to get a land for mentally ill, blind, and deaf by President Pierce, which led her to move away to Europe and begin her fight abroad. Later in life, Dorothea eventually made her way back to America just in time for the Civil War, where she dedicated herself to becoming a nurse on the field and setting up first aid tents, although it is said that she lacked the social skills necessary to get through military bureaucracy. While continuing her life's work, she became ill, which forced her to stop traveling, where she returned to the hospital she had founded in New Jersey over 40 years previously, which was essentially considered to be her first child. She later died in that hospital on July 17, 1887, where she is remembered for creating 2 federal asylums and 75 state asylums, and was remembered as a hero among women to this day. I feel like this is a topic of significance because it's still significant to this day what Dorothea Dix has done for society. Because it has changed the way that society and women can thrive today, as mental illness used to be a topic shunned upon by the many, but now many people are able to openly talk about it and share their problems where they can get properly treated but also be understood and not deemed to be possessed by the devil or have some problem where they need to be shunned away, which can be attributed to Dorothea Dix, as these facilities that she was able to open changed the way that people perceive the mentally ill and how they should be treated. But it should also be noted that what Dorothea Dix did was a huge step for women overall, as at the time women were seen as nothing but domestic beings when no voice needed to be heard, as they didn't even have the right to vote. But when she stood up to Congress and spoke her mind for the rights of the mentally ill, she proved that women had a place at the table and should be heard just as much as a man, which gives young women like me a voice to be heard and a platform to speak on, such as this video, which is why it should also continue to be discussed among history classes in high school, college, or otherwise, as it is a prevalent topic to our history and how we as a society have changed over time in many different ways, whether it be mental illness or for the rights of women overall. And as you can see, this is me expressing my right as a woman in society today to make this video and be able to express myself with this video of me putting on makeup and how I have the platform to do so today as a woman. Thank you for watching. Please enjoy the rest.